Speaker, I rise today to honor and thank somebody who's been a key part of my team since I got elected into House leadership. He's the floor director right now for the Whip's office, Mr. Matt Bravo. Matt Bravo has been with my team and has helped us through some critical key legislative victories, not the least of which is this Tax Cuts and Jobs Act today, helping pass the bills through the floor and help us get our work done as we whip the bills to make sure we can move the majority's agenda. But Matt has worked for years, Mr. Speaker, not just in the Whip's office for me. He's also worked for former Whip and Majority Leader Eric Cantor. He's worked for the Energy and Commerce Committee. Matt Bravo has dedicated more than 10 years of his life to public service in this institution with honor and integrity. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Matt Bravo is somebody who has the full respect of not only our members on the House Republican side, he's respected by the Democrat leadership as well, and is a key part of our staff and again has helped us pass critical legislation. I would call him the best floor director ever. We are going to miss him here. Jennifer and I wish he and his wife Summer and their soon-to-be growing family all the best in his future life. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank him for the time and the public service he's given to this House of Representatives. Again, thank you, Mr. Matt Bravo, for the service you've given to all of us. And I'd be happy to yield, Mr. Speaker.
I thank the gentleman for yielding. I agree with everything that he said. Maybe he's not the best floor director. I got a pretty good one myself, but he is a very, very good floor director.
We can maybe disagree on that like we disagree on who has the best crabs, but we'll enjoy that disagreement.
Well, I was going to say one of the problems I've had with Mr. Bravo, he thinks Louisiana crabs are better than Maryland crabs, but loyalty is an important aspect of our service. I'm pleased to rise to join my friend, Mr. Scalise, the Majority Whip, to thank Matt Bravo for the leadership that he has given on this floor, and particularly on behalf of my floor staff, with whom he has worked very closely, both when he was with Mr. Cantor, with whom I worked very closely, and now Mr. Scalise, with whom I work closely. We thank you for your service to this House. Every time I rise, I say whether it's a Democratic or a Republican staffer that works this floor, they work with all of us. And they work in a way that tries to facilitate the doing of the people's business. They're not always as successful as they would like to be. It is the fault of the members, not of the staff. They have good plans that go awry because the staff do not cooperate. Matt, I understand that very well. But Matt, we want to thank you for the very collegial, positive, constructive way in which you have worked with my staff, with the leader's staff, with other staff on this side of the aisle, as well as staff on your side of the aisle, to assure that we can, to the best extent possible, work in a constructive way on behalf of the American people. I'm sure that you will be as successful in future endeavors as you have been here, and if so, very, very successful indeed. Mr. Speaker, I thank the Majority Whip for yielding. I yield back my time and wish Matt Bravo the very best.
Well, I want to thank the Democrat Whip for his kind words and for the way that our offices do work together on those occasions. And frankly, it is most occasions where we're working together on things. Obviously, there are times when we're not, but even in those times, our staffs have a great working relationship and a trust level that is really important to the House getting its business done. So thank the Democrat leader, Mr. Hoare.
And would the Whip yield?
Without objection, Mr. Speaker, I'd be honored to yield to the Chief Deputy Whip, Mr. McHenry.
The gentleman from North Carolina is recognized.
Well, I want to thank my friend for yielding, and it's a special pleasure to come and speak to a great public, to the career of a great public servant, Matt Bravo. Matt's worked here in the House for 11 years. In various roles. He started off as body guy for Leader Cantor when Leader Cantor served as Chief Deputy Whip. And in addition to that, he's held various roles in the Whip operation, in the Leader's office on the Republican side of the aisle, as well as important work on the Energy and Commerce Committee. Matt Bravo has a great sense of humor, a great love of the game of golf, He is much better at the game of golf than he is at his jokes. And we love Matt Bravo. We love teasing him. We love giving him a hard time. But we know his true character. We know how he works intensely to see things through, to grind out the votes, to get 218 to pass our agenda. Matt, we know you'll be successful in this next phase of your career. We thank you for your friendship. We thank you for your service to this House. On both sides of the aisle, the respect that you've gained is immense. And we congratulate you on this next phase. And thank you for your service in the People's House, to your government, to the United States American people. We'll miss you, brother. And I yield back to the whip and my friend, Steve.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'd be remiss if I didn't recognize that his lovely wife, Summer, is in the balcony, too. And thank you for the time that you lent him to us and to this great institution. Best of luck in your family and in your future with him. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With that, I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. For what purpose does the gentleman from Tennessee seek recognition? The gentleman is recognized for 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, the Republicans showed their values. They showed